Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. It's my pleasure to welcome everyone to the November 16th, 2023 Guelph Police Services Board meeting. I'm going to start with our territorial acknowledgement. As we gather, let us take time to reflect on our privilege to live and work in Guelph, a city built over rich Indigenous histories. We are guests here, and we should reflect upon the responsibility to care for the land, the people who live here today, and the generations to come. If our actions today can move us toward reconciliation, we should take pause and make those decisions with intention and gratitude. This place we call Guelph has served as the traditional lands and a place of refuge for many peoples over time, but more specifically the Atitawanderang and the Haudenosaunee. This land is held as the treaty lands and territory with the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation. Guelph lies directly adjacent to the Haldimand Track and is part of a long-established traditional hunting grounds for the Six Nations of the Grand River. Many First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples who have come from across Turtle Island call Guelph home today. So first, I'd like to start by asking if there are any declarations of conflict or interest or pecuniary interest under the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act. Hearing none, I will declare that item closed. And our next item is the community account resolution. Mayor Guthrie.
Thank you, and through you, Mr. Chair. Moved by myself, seconded by Jane Armstrong, that $250 be provided from the community account to the Bangladesh community.
Okay. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Our next item is a presentation, and I'm going to welcome Inspector Jamie Caravellis and Staff Sergeant Melanie Clark to our meeting, and I will have the Chief Kobe make introductions.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I just need a thumbs up from somebody just to make sure you can hear me. Anybody? Okay. Thank you very much. I wanted to introduce Staff Sergeant Melanie Clark and Inspector Jamie Caravellis. And I think rather than me doing that, I wanted to give Mel and Jamie both a chance to kind of introduce themselves to the board. So Mel, if you want to go first.
Thank you, Chief. So my name is Melanie Clark. I am a staff sergeant in our investigative support services. I've been with the Guelph Police Service for about 22 years, and I would say approximately half of that I have been directly involved in the Special Victims Unit in some capacity.
Okay. And Jamie?
Hi, I'm Inspector Jamie Caravellis. I'm currently the Inspector in charge of Investigative Services and previously the Staff Sergeant in Investigative Services. I've been with Guelph Police Service for approximately 26 years.
Okay. And now I'm going to turn it over to Jamie and Melanie to give our presentation. And I suspect Jamie's going to want to share his screen here to do a slideshow. So the floor is yours.
Thank you, Chief. So just to open this up, I would just like to show our appreciation for the opportunity to share the following information today. We would like to open with a short video. This is one of 3 videos that were created in collaboration with our Victim Services Wellington as part of an educational campaign made possible by a victim support grant.
Did we lose the presentation, folks?
I think we lost Jamie. Oh, there's Jamie.
Now, am I the only one who didn't have audio on that video?
Yeah, there was no audio. I didn't hear anything either.
Yeah.
Now,
Was
Jamie,
it-
could that, you had your mic muted?
What's interesting, sorry to interrupt, is that even though the audio wasn't working, it was still really impactful, even without the audio. It was
Yeah.
almost more, I don't know the word, emotional in a way. So don't fret about the missing of the audio there. We get it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I actually thought it was intentional after a while.
Yeah, I haven't seen it without audio, and it actually was pretty impactful. Okay, so just to give you an overview on intimate partner violence that we refer throughout this presentation as IPV. What this is it includes physical and or emotional psychological abuse that is directed at a person whom there has been an intimate relationship with, meaning any interpersonal relationship. It could be past or current. Intimate partner violence and human trafficking, also known as HT, are both victim-centric and have similar cycles of abuse and victim dependency on the abuser. They know no border, and they do not have prejudice to any culture, race, sexual preference, or socioeconomic status. These investigations are important and are handled with the utmost attention and dedication.
So just to give you a little bit of background here, on the 22nd of September 2015, 3 women in Renfrew County were murdered by a man whom each had a past relationship with. A coroner's inquest was held to examine the circumstances around the murders. And on the 28th of June 2022, the coroner's jury made 86 recommendations in regards to the circumstances around these murders. The City of Guelph Council had a resolution on the 28th of November 2023, and it was the following in regards to intimate partner violence: that the Guelph City Council respectfully requests the Guelph Police Services Board share a report that outlines how the police service meets or intends to address the recommendations contained in the inquest. From this, the coroner's jury's recommendations were broken down into 7 categories: oversight and accountability, system approaches, collaboration and communication, funding, education and training, as well as measures addressing perpetrators of intimate partner violence, intervention, and safety. As we share the following information with you, you will see that the Guelph Police Service has been addressing the recommendations made by the coroner's jury.
So yes, as Jamie has indicated, we as a service acknowledge the recommendations contained in the inquest, and we have prioritized and managed the risk associated to IPV violence for years. The following information that we are presenting will outline how we as a service have been addressing intimate partner violence.
So just to give you a understanding of the Guelph Police and in regards to domestic investigations, this is from 2022 to 2023. What you see is in 2020, we attended 1,769 calls for service in regards to domestic investigations. And of those, we had approximately 428 arrests resulting of those investigations. That's the red bar in 2020. In 2023, we attended 1,550 calls for service involving domestic investigations, and we had 496 arrests in relation to those occurrences. And just so everybody understands, we receive calls for service either through our 911 call or our general non-emergent line. Our frontline uniform officers will be usually the first ones that respond to these calls. They'll attend in regards to the domestic disturbance and conduct an investigation. And a majority of these investigations are handled by the frontline officers. However, as investigations are more complex, they go to our specialized unit.
So yeah, so as Jamie said, we have a specialized unit. Before I get into what that looks like, I just want to point out that recommendations from the KPMG study was that we should have a supervisor as well as one more investigator within that unit. I also want to note that in 2022, so this was prior to the KPMG study, as well as prior to the epidemic declaration, we had added an investigator to the IPV unit, as well as putting forward a proposal for a supervisor for that unit. Again, just pointing this out to show that we have recognized the need for this prior to the declaration. So having said all of that, what the unit looks like currently is that we have a supervisor, as mentioned, so that's new in 2024, and again, recommended by the KPMG study. We have one high-risk violence coordinator. Now, she is not an active investigator, although she assists in many investigations due to need, but her main role is to ensure that she monitors the high-risk offenders. And she's also part of, as you'll hear later, many committees. She sits on many committees, so she is able to share that information, ensure that we are working with best practices, etc. So very important role and very busy. We also have 2 active high-risk intimate partner violence investigators, as well as 1 human trafficking investigator within this specialized unit. So as far as education and training goes, we wanted to provide just an overview of some of the courses that are offered and that to officers with regards to the specialized unit, but also just all officers within the service. And again, we work along, members of the police service work with our community partners, many community partners, to address the IPV investigations within our community. So some of the education and training, we have our Ontario Police College courses, so OPC courses, which include our IPV, sexual assault, human trafficking, child investigations, to name a few. I wanted to point out that we did host with, again, along with our Victim Services Wellington, trauma-informed workshop in 2021. We had 200 attendees to that, officers as well as partners. And the importance of the trauma-informed is that it allows our officers to have a better understanding of the victims that we are working with. We also have our Be Safer training, and that has been offered to all officers in the past in 2022 and is also offered to our community partners. And what that is an in-depth look at how police assess domestic violence risk with a focus on victim safety planning. So a lot of safety planning with the victim in our Be Safer risk assessment. Again, just some highlights for the upcoming year. We have in our spring training, which all officers of the GPS experience, is our ACEs training. So ACEs is our adverse childhood experiences, and that goes back to the trauma-informed approach in that if you have a child who has undergone some trauma, be it a victim of domestic violence or a witness of that, their brain develops differently. That's science in a nutshell, but and as a result, their resiliency may be a little less. So it opens officers' eyes as to why victims may provide the information the way they do, etc. So again, it all goes back to trauma-informed. We have a lot of community partners that want to come in and speak to officers directly through our training days, but unfortunately we aren't able to facilitate that. So what we decided to do was have a lunch and learn. We're offering 4 lunch and learn, and that's for all officers as well as all civilians, all members within the Guelph Police Service. And 12 community partners have come in. We've done 3 out of 4 days come in, and they set up information booths, and officers are able to come in and civilians able to come in and just share that information. And it's been very successful. Another really exciting workshop we have coming up is in March of this year. It's called Working Together to Build a Community Response. We have 2 guest speakers. One is our local crown, Peter Keane, and he is speaking on intimate partner violence. And then we have Pam Cross. So for those who don't know who Pam Cross is, she is an advocate for IPV. She was very involved in the inquest in that she was a expert. She provided expert testimony, and she also was at the inquest daily. So she was a big part of that. So she is our guest speaker for the symposium. And again, just an overview of the education.
So IPV isn't just a police response, but it's a coordinated community response. The Guelph Police Service works with several community members and partners to address IPV. And what I have here is what you can see before you is a list of community partners that we deal with in regards to IPV investigations. So we have the High Risk Intimate Partner Violence Team from Guelph Wellington, the Action Committee, the Ontario High Risk Intimate Partner Violence Coordinators Committee. We work with Victim Services Wellington, Impact, Women in Crisis, the Child Witness Center, the Victim Witness Assistance Program, Family Children Services, as well as the Guelph General Hospital Sexual Assault and IPV Unit. And I'm just going to explain some of the partners that we deal with, and so people have an understanding. We have the High Risk Intimate Partner Violence Team, Guelph Wellington. Their mandate is to identify and manage high-risk domestic violence cases. They use the high-risk indicators that's been developed by the Domestic Violence Death Review Committee annual report. Any agency may refer to the committee. Currently, the Guelph Police Service's High-Risk Intimate Partner Violence Coordinator, Detective Constable Ashley MacArthur, is the chair of that committee. This committee was implemented in 2009, and it includes members of the Crown Attorney's Office, Probation and Parole, Wellington County OPP, Family Children Services, Victim Assistance Program, Family Counseling and Support, as well as Family Children Services, Women in Crisis, and the Guelph Police Service, just to name a few. And the committee, they meet and review high-risk cases, and currently there's approximately 50 high-risk cases that they're managing through this committee, and they meet monthly. The other committee that the Guelph Police Service is a part of is the Guelph Wellington Action Committee, and this committee is partnerships of community agencies and service providers dedicated to increasing safety and well-being of victims of sexual assault, intimate partner violence, and human trafficking. And the mission of the committee is to work in collaboration to coordinate, advocate, and educate on issues and services regarding sexual assault, domestic violence, and human trafficking. And these are a number of the members that belong to this committee. So as you can see, there's a large group of community members and services that belong to here. So we have Women in Crisis, the Guelph Police, the OPP, University of Guelph, the Upper Grand District School Board, or the Wellington County School Board, just to name a few. And as you can see, there's a large group, once again, meet monthly to discuss intimate partner violence within our community. The other committee that we're part of is the Ontario High Risk Intimate Partner Violence Coordinators Committee. The purpose of this committee is to provide support, coordination for domestic violence cases, and membership consists of provincial representatives from all geographical areas. And this committee is made up mostly of police services, so it'd be the coordinators of intimate partner violence, and there's some Crown attorneys that attended this meeting. And the committee's mandate is to provide information and support to all domestic violence coordinators in the province of Ontario, to discuss provincial and local issues and engage in problem-solving techniques to enhance services to provide to victims by police, related agencies in the community. And the other big one is to facilitate the exchange of information between police services and to assist in developing domestic violence policies or making changes to policing standard guidelines, and that's at the ministry level. And currently, Detective Constable Ashley MacArthur of the Guelph Police Service Intimate Partner Violence Coordinator is the chair of this committee as well. And some of the topics that they've discussed in the last year and a half has been winter of 2022, they reviewed the inquest recommendations, developed a list from a policing perspective in regards to those, and discussed the implementation of inquest recommendations. In the spring, they had Aaron Lee, the director of Lanark County Interval House, attend. Lanark County was deemed IPV as an epidemic and how it's impacted their community. And they also looked at the perspective of victims on violence in rural areas and addressing some of the recommendations in that inquest. And in the fall of 2023, Peter Keene, our local Crown attorney, actually presented to the group on a number of topics in regards to intimate partner violence, as well as strangulation and supervising strangulation cases.
And yeah, so just to go over the current actions that we as the police are addressing with regards to the recommendations. Just an overview. First of all, we have the adequacy standard. So that's a provincial standard for procedures for IPV investigations. The DVRM, this is a domestic violence risk management form. So every offender that is arrested, we sit down with the victim and we go through a risk form, and that just makes sure that we are not missing any previous domestics, either in our jurisdiction or other jurisdictions, any weapons, ensuring the children are safe, any other children. So it goes through it's a very long and detailed form as far as risk management goes. Crown notification for high-risk cases, and this goes to bail notification as well. So for every high-risk case, we are in direct contact with the Crown attorney to ensure that they have all of the information that they need, be it historical, domestic assaults, etc., for the bail hearing, so that they go in with a very knowledge-based approach. Our person at risk form, every offender that is released from custody, we notify that victim directly to ensure that they are aware of the conditions placed upon the offender. Also with that goes our Victim Services Wellington. With every offender that is released, they also notify the victim to ensure that they go over safety planning with the victim. FNCS reporting, which is Family and Children Services reporting. We have always reported any domestic incident to Family and Children Services, and that is whether the child is there and present or if they are not. In 2020, we implemented an internal system just to ensure accountability of that process. To give you an idea of referrals, in 2020, there were 135 referrals to Family and Children Services. And in 2023, we had 434 referrals. So again, those are emergent and non-emergent referrals. Probation as well. Any offender, or actually any person we come in contact with on IPV, whether they're arrested or not, that are on probation, their probation officer gets notified. And their probation officer is red flagged on their end. So if we don't notify them, they ask us, they call us to see why the contact was made. Our Child Witness Center referrals. So our Child Witness Center is for any child witness or victim. They are referred to this center and they follow the witness or victim through the whole court process and support that child. And with regard to required investments, as I have mentioned throughout this presentation, the KPMG and the recommendations made from the inquest align in that we have made important investments for IPV and have identified the process to do this with respect to our resources. We are, and I feel that we have supported this with the information presented today, doing our best with our current resources to provide the service to the community that they deserve. I feel that it is really important to mention, though, that in addition to the much needed resource investments, that we actively work with our community partners to secure grant funding as well. So we wanted to just address and highlight some of our successes with grants that we have applied for and been successful in achieving. Some of the highlights with regards to this is, for one, we have been able to embed a victim support worker directly into our IPV unit. So this support worker, his sole job is to support the victims, is to ensure any support through the court process as well. And what this does is it allows our investigators to focus solely on the investigation. So that is huge for our funding to have allowed that. We also currently are working on a support and information guide for survivors of IPV. So this is a support and information guide that once complete, we'll be able to put onto our website and also print hard copies to distribute to our community partners. So they are available for people within our community. So that's really important. Just some other highlights. We were able to furnish our soft interview room and children's room within the station. What that does is allow victims to come in, if they're providing statements, to be in a very comfortable space. And there's a children's room adjoined to that with a window in between so that if they have their children with them, they're able to see each other while we speak to them. Again, the Lunch and Learn symposiums, all grant funded, educational campaigns, and just gift cards, posters, We're doing some radio ads coming up. All of that has been as a result of some grants. So just wanted to make mention of that. And also, as I mentioned at the beginning of this information session, we have completed 3 educational videos in collaboration with our Victim Services Wellington. We would like to close with a second video. This video is very real and shows that IPV is very prevalent in our younger generation. And as you will see, with our growing technology, it is becoming even more prevalent in different forms. So Jamie, if you'd like to play the last video.
These are just between us. Promise?
I promise. Check this out. No way. Oh my god. That's last night. You understand that? Awesome. Right here, right now. No, god.
If you are in crisis and require immediate assistance, call 911. If you want to talk and are in need of support, information, options, or medical and emotional support, please call Victim Services Wellington or the Sexual Assault and Domestic Violence Care and Treatment Center at the Guelph General Hospital.
Was everyone able to hear that?
Yes.
Okay. In conclusion, we appreciate this opportunity to share this information with you. We as a service are aware of the importance of intimate partner violence investigations and believe we are addressing and continue to address the recommendations that have been put forward. Is there any questions?
And maybe Jamie, if you stop sharing your screen now, everybody will you'll be a little bigger.
Yeah, there we go.
And Mr. Chair, if I can, before I just want to, I really would encourage the board if anybody has any questions for Mel or Jamie or any of us, but I also want to thank Jamie and Mel, as well as Detective Constable Ashley MacArthur and all of our members who are doing this very, very important work. Incredibly important work that affects many, many people in our community. And it takes a lot of dedication on the part of our members to do this work. So thank you very much, Mel and Jamie, for doing this. And then with that, I'll turn that over to you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Mayor Guthrie?
Thank you, and through you, Chair. I just had one question, and that was that special speaker that's coming up. I forget her name that you mentioned, coming up soon. How are we going to be promoting that? How are you going to be promoting that to get that awareness out there for that event?
So currently, Liz Kent of our Victim Services Wellington is preparing that invitation. That is going out to all of our community partners. Unfortunately, I believe we have to cap it at about 100. It's being held at the Arboretum this year. But yeah, it's going to go out probably early next week to all of our community partners as well as our front line here. And I feel that we will have that filled up very quickly, unfortunately. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, and great work. Ditto to what the chief said. for your work. Thank you.
Okay. Any other members with any comments or questions? Okay. Hearing none, I will thank. Sorry, back to you, Chief.
Yeah, and maybe through you, Mr. Chair, to the mayor. I know a council's motion it talked about a report. We felt it was important that a presentation where people actually doing the work. So, well, obviously this presentation is to the board. It's certainly captured and available for council to view. But also, if for example, us, Mel and Jamie, if council ever wanted an in-person presentation. But I really think it's important. This is the kind of discussion that needs to be had like this, not trying to give council a few pages of a report, if you know what I mean.
May I respond, Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Yes, and through you. Yeah, I totally understand that. I think a presentation style, and it's a bit more authentic, and you can hear body language and tone of voice, and can hear and feel the sincerity and the work that's being done by the members here on this issue. So, you know, I think that's fantastic. I mean, if there's any notes or anything like that, I mean, it could always be compiled and sent into council, but I'll definitely make sure that this link to this video and to this meeting is sent to all of council so that they're aware, and I'm sure it will be shared widely. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. I want to, at this point, I want to thank Inspector Caravellis and Staff Sergeant Clark for taking your time to prepare and give us this excellent presentation that is going to help us greatly, and to know what is being done here in Guelph to tackle this, and to know that it has been on your agenda for quite some time, and a lot of positive steps have been taken. The next item on our agenda is the approval of the minutes of the open meeting of January 18th. Can I have a mover? Moved by Mayor Guthrie. A seconder, please. Seconder by Mr. Sharma. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Next item is our agenda. Approval of the agenda. So before we approve the agenda, if any member wishes to take anything out of the consent for discussion, we can do so. Failing that, I would ask for, unless anybody wishes to do that, I would ask for a motion to approve the agenda. Moved by Vice Chair Armstrong, seconded by Mr. Sharma. All in favor? Opposed? Mayor Guthrie, your camera was off, so I didn't necessarily get to record your vote.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I was flipping screens to the agenda, so
okay.
Sorry about that. And yeah, of course, I'm in favor. Everything's fine there. Yeah.
Thank you. Then I declare that item passed. Our next item is the Chief's monthly report. So I'll turn that over to you, Chief Kobe.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I have one important update, and that was we had a lot of discussion last fall, and one of the areas of our, again, we allude to this a lot with the KPMG study and our resources. We made a commitment as part of that to increase the support we're providing to the downtown community, and I wanted to share with the board that so both our new, so in addition to Connor and our members on the platoons who support the downtown, we'd made a commitment to add another full-time community resource officer to support the downtown. That process has been completed, and Constable Mark O'Connell, we're happy to welcome him back to that role. I know the community knows Mark very well. He's deeply committed to our community, our downtown. He's a longtime member of our service and our community, and I'm sure the community will be very happy to know that Mark is moving back into this role. So he will be one more person fully committed to supporting the downtown. In addition, we're quite happy to advise that as well, part of that, I'm sure the board recalls, but we'd made a commitment to to support an additional impact worker or CMHA mental health clinician in a full-time role to work with Mark and Connor and our members to specifically support the downtown. And that position too that process has been completed. And the individual who will be moving into that role is Miss Kim Ketcher. Kim is a longtime member, in fact, one of the founding members of our original impact team. So she has worked for many years with our members, with our community. She's been instrumental in developing a lot of developing and evolving how we respond and support those in crisis, and brings an extensive amount of experience and knowledge of the community and our members now to support the downtown. So Kim and Mark will be starting their new full-time roles, and that's part of the commitment that the board made to the community as part of last year's budget process to provide more full-time support to the downtown. So barring any questions, I just wanted to share that with the board.
Okay. Thank you, Chief Kobe. Mayor Guthrie?
Yes, thank you. And through you, I just want to confirm I think one of the motions or one of the sort of requests of the board was also with this sort of partnership, this really unique partnership between officer and someone from the impact team, that data is now going to be started to be collected because we want to see how this is working. So can I just get confirmation that the foundational, data points and all that is going to be starting to be collected here as this project moves forward?
Absolutely, and I would say it'll be even increased because we already collect a great deal of data with respect to impact and how they support our members. But yes, specifically as this supports the downtown, Mark and Kim and Connor will have an opportunity to, I would say, expand that data collection process, both in general and impact as well as specific to the downtown.
Thank you. Mr. Sharma, did you put your hand up? I thought I might have seen out of the, no, okay. Okay, any further questions? Hearing none, I'll declare that item closed. Is there any new business? Hearing none, I will declare that item closed. Information item, the next open meeting will be Thursday, March 21st at 2:30 via Teams, live streamed on YouTube. And at this point, I'd ask for a motion to adjourn. Moved by Mayor Guthrie and seconded by Mr. Sharma. Thank you. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a great week.
Thank you.